Gun violence continues to rise in New York City. The NYPD attributes much of it to gangs.
CBS2's Bauman rode along with some of the top detectives combating gang violence in Brooklyn and has an exclusive look at the effort to get guns off the streets.
These two gangs here have been engaged in constant combat for the last 10 years.
The 73rd Precinct in Brownsville, Brooklyn is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in New York City.
How widespread is their impact in Brooklyn?
It spreads into Bedford-Stuyvesant, it spreads into Brooklyn South, it spreads into Crown Heights. This is the heart of it, though.
Lieutenant Ryan Gillis is with the Brooklyn North Violent Crime Squad. Detectives here investigate gang violence.
The driving factor in shootings being up, I believe, is the gang violence that's going on.
The detectives brought us to the Van Dyke housing complex, the site of an alleged gang shooting at the height of the pandemic in April.
They came out right that door and they shot blindly into the crowd hanging out by the seats over here, and subsequently an unintended female was shot.
Their investigation led to the arrest of 3 suspects for attempted murder.
Why is there more gang activity right now than last year?
Because some prominent gang members have been shot, and that creates a retaliatory effect. Back in the day, gang members used to mark their territory using graffiti. It doesn't occur as much now. What we see is they're using social media as the graffiti.
Rival gangs taunting one another in song, which they post online. The lieutenant says immediately after this song was released, there were 22 shootings between 2 rival gangs.
How do you use the music then to work in your investigations?
When they reference those specific incidents that occurred, we know that's something we have to have a laser focus on to try to solve, because it's obviously perpetuating the violence until someone's brought to account for that act.
The lieutenant says while NYPD budget cuts have not directly impacted this squad, disbanding of the anti-crime unit this summer, which was also tasked with getting guns off the street, has added to their workload.
We undertake all those tasks and we assign as much personnel as we can, but as we're working on one from last week, 2-3 more are coming in.
Civil unrest and calls for police reform in the wake of George Floyd's death has also had an effect.
Some people have a mistrust for police. Some people are hesitant to call the police or seek out the police's help. Has that had any kind of impact on you this year?
I do see that. If the community doesn't help us, we're never going to achieve the goal that we want to achieve. And that goal is to hold all these gang members that are driving this violence accountable for their actions. We need the community's help because they're the ones that know exactly what occurred.
Year to date, gun arrests are down, but they're rapidly increasing. The NYPD just marked a 25-year milestone with 160 gun-related arrests last week alone. In Brownsville, Brooklyn, Bauman, CBS2 News.